So not the most popular take to have, but I think Michael Chandler's probably in the right. Don't get me wrong, in the moment, I thought he was cheating beyond belief. He did cheat beyond belief. But the back of the head strikes of Charles Oliveira turns out aren't actually back of the head strikes. I'll show you in this video the actual unified rules of MMA. Then we'll do a slow-mo breakdown of the back of the head strikes and see if it actually does qualify under the actual rules of MMA and not the stuff that the fans and Daniel Cormier has made up. And speaking of Daniel Cormier, he knows nothing about the rules of MMA because he fought in the UFC for years and he doesn't even know what qualifies as a back of the head strike. So screw him. Let's get into the video.
Well, I don't think I did anything wrong. I'm not going to say I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I'm not going to say that people couldn't look at it and splice it and look at it from under a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass. But the unified rules of mixed martial arts say that there is a line drawn from the crown of the head, if this were the back of the head, the crown of the head down to the neck, 1 inch variance on either side. So you're talking about a 2 inch area on the back of someone's head that is considered the back of the head.
He is right. I'll show you in a second. But basically, imagine you have a mohawk, right? If he goes 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right, that's the back of the head. Starting from here all the way to your spine area. That's considered the back of the head. None of this things about, oh, if it clips your ears, it's a legal strike. I think fans have just kind of made that up, and Dana White in general. Maybe something like you've heard like these experts talk about. But in the actual written rules of mixed martial arts, not this made up stuff that they've come up with, it doesn't mention clipping the ear at all. So it's kind of weird that this has happened. So anyway, let's get back into it.
And if you watch 90% of the shots, at least, most of them, almost all of them, or at least where I was aiming, all of them, my fist was catching the ear. So if you're catching the ear, that is not the back of the head. And actually, the back of the head is not really, what you and I would call the back of the head is not what the actual definition of the back of the head is. That 2 inch strip down the back of the head. I
think that's a really important point because I see a lot of MMA fans just make up rules as they go on. Hey, listen, right? I did the same thing. I was talking to my friends and I was like, you know what, this is bullshit. Michael Chandler clearly cheated. And they were like, oh, no, he didn't. Like, slow down the footage. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what they think. The actual rules of mixed martial arts state what he did for the most part wasn't back of the head. And I'll show you in a second, like I said. But just keep watching the video, okay? Keep watching. And subscribe.
A referee who was within 2 feet away never said one thing about it. And then you got commentators who were 35.
It is funny how these referees continue to just like avoid blame. It's like, oh yeah, Michael Chandler's such a cheat. He did all this, and this, and he just got away with it. It's like, well, yeah, the guy that let him get away with it was standing right there. It's like, oh, well, this murderer just got away with it, even though the cop was right there watching it happen. Like, let's blame this guy. I mean, obviously blame him. Obviously Michael Chandler was a dirty fighter, but the fact that no one did anything about it is, you know, like, there needs to be some blame to UFC referees. I know they get a lot of shit, which is rightfully so, but double down on it. Double down on it, know their names, and just shit all over them on the internet. Someone make a video on every single bad call Herb Dean's made. Do like a 10-hour video.
5 feet away, saying it's the back of the head, and then you got other people who are saying, hey, that's the back of the head, just like the Poirier fight. You're punching a guy behind the ear. If it's not within that 1 inch, that 2 inch variance, 1 inch variance to the center line of the back of the head, and it's just, things are happening. It's going 1,000 miles an hour. If the referee was yelling at me, hey, Michael, watch the back of the head, or that is the back of the head, he might give you one shot, say it's the back of the head, and then I would have changed courses. I would have changed the trajectory. But
that's actually a good point. Like, listen, right? Michael Chandler's in the 5th round. He's trying to finish him. He has a good chance to do it. He's doing whatever he can. If a referee doesn't say, hey, that's the back of the head, why would Michael Chandler be stupid enough to stop that? I know everyone says, oh, he's got low IQ. He ain't that stupid. He ain't a caveman. He's not going, oh, for the integrity of my, I don't know, of the sport, I'm just going to, like, change the direction and hopefully I can still finish him, but probably not. Charles will probably get back up on his feet. You know? Like, obviously going for the finish. If the referee says, okay, mate, stop that, then he might have actually stopped it, but he's not going to fucking stop trying to win a fight to get a title shot if the referee's saying nothing about it while watching it from 2 feet away.
But none of them were going straight down. They were all coming at a 45-degree angle toward the side and the ear. And ultimately, man, you're dropping a guy. You're down on points. You're dropping a guy. You're trying to hit him, and you're trying to get him out of there. I'm not 100% thinking about, you know, that little red line between the back of the head the whole time. But it's water under the bridge at this point. But more than anything, what you and I would call the back of the head is not what the unified rules of mixed martial arts call the back of the head. So it needs to be defined, and it also needs to be understood by yourself, the media, the commentators, some of which have fought in an octagon for years and won championships, and the general fan base.
That's what this video is going to be, explaining the rules of mixed martial arts. Daniel Cormier, you know what? Let's give some shit to Daniel Cormier. He was yelling back of the head, and that probably influenced a lot of people into thinking back of the head. No one actually mentions what the back of the head is. Everyone just presumes, okay, if it touches the ear, it's not the back of the head. If it doesn't touch the ear, it is the back of the head. But realistically, you can hit someone right here, just above the ear, and that's not to the back of the head. The back of the head is a specific center line that goes around from your crown all the way to your spine area, which we'll get into right now. Look at the unified rules of mixed martial arts. Here we go. Strikes to the spine or the back of the head. The spine includes the tailbone. Okay. The back of the head is defined as the area starting at the crown of the head and running directly down the center line of the head, with a 1-inch variance to each side. So basically, here, straight line down where your hair separates, and then 1 inch to the other side. If Michael Chandler isn't hitting the ear, it doesn't matter as long as it's not hitting that part of the head. And even if it does, like, let's say, hypothetically, someone throws their elbow top down, and it does touch the ear, but it also touches that line, that would be back of the head. None of this nonsense that people are just making up the rules of mixed martial arts. Oh, well, you know, you can look at it this way. No, we don't have to look at it any other way. It says so, how to look at the fight. Look at it the way it's written down in the rule book. Imagine basketball, right? It's like, okay, in basketball, you can't take more than 3 steps or 2 steps without it being a travel. And then someone's just taking 6 steps, and it's like, and the commentator's just going, yeah, well, it's just what happens, right? And it's like, oh, well, it's just how it's done. No. There's actual rules in a sport which you have to follow for it to be considered a sport. Anyway, this is in Backyard Brawl. What's happening? The entire rear portion of the neck is also illegal. Makes sense. So like the spine, you know, the extended spine. To attack starting at the occipital junction and stopping at the top of the trapezius. Right, so the occipital junction is the part of the neck which is just down here. It starts at like the start of the spine, kind of, I suppose. From the trap muscle down, the spine is protected to the tailbone. So basically, your entire spine. Imagine if your spine just extended all the way to the top of your head, right? That is the part that's considered the back of the head. None of this touches the ear, all that stuff. No. Daniel Cormier has no clue what he's talking about. I doubt he's even read the mixed martial arts unified rules the entire time he was fighting. I'm sure he hasn't, in all honesty. But anyway, let's slow down the footage and see how Michael Chandler was doing in some of these strikes. And we'll go strike by strike in slow motion, right? Let's see. Strike number 1, a hammer fist. That looks illegal. I won't lie to you. I know his fist. I mean, did that elbow really hit Charles Oliveira? Or was it to the side of the head? Not the back, the side of the head. Let's leave that up for question. Let's leave it up for debate. But now in strike number 2, it looks like it's going to make I Hate the Blur to the side of the head one more time. Yep, side of the head. That one's a bit iffy because we did see the elbow come down and hit the center line. So let's say that one's one of the 10% that wasn't legal. Man, it's really hard to tell if his elbow is the one that's making... You know, maybe I'm changing my mind mid-video. But that might have been illegal too. After I just shout on Daniel Cormier. I'm about to just go back on my word. Anyway, 2. Maybe everything after this will be clean. I'm squinting. And that looks like a back of the head strike. In my opinion. Okay, a completely legal strike there. So that was like 2 or 3. It's legal strike. Another legal strike, completely legal. Another legal strike. Okay. Another legal strike. Can't see. Can you get the fuck? He was what? This ref was watching this whole thing happen. By the way, 2 feet away. If that. And he didn't call anything, so... I mean, fair play to Michael Chandler. You can't really be expecting to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Don't be an idiot. Anthony Smith is honestly a massive double chromosomed idiot. For not just taking the belt. On all honesty. The rules say he could have done it. I don't understand why you wouldn't just do it. But anyway, let's continue. See, now we get to more suspicious areas where his elbow is just straight up hitting Charles Oliver at the back of the head. Okay, side of the... The thing is, the blunt force of his arm is still coming from the wrist. You know what, I'm changing my mind again. That's the angle I'm going to take. The blunt force of the impact is coming from his wrist in, like, this area. He's not really, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not really going down and just putting pressure through his elbow area from that position. Because if he was, that'd be extremely stupid. I don't think he could generate that kind of power. But when I'm doing this, it looks like he is definitely hitting the side of the head, but his elbow is making contact with the back of the head, which is really suspicious. And again, like, that just straight up looks like the back of the head, to be honest. Okay. I'm actually conflicted now. Okay, here's the thing. There's two ways to look at it. He definitely hit Charles over the back of the head a few times. The referee is the same referee. Is it Jason Herzog? No, it's not, is it? What's his name? The guy that, ref Dominic Cruz. Him. The guy that was smelling like smokes and beers. Don't let him ref again. He's fucking terrible, I swear to God. He was literally on his hands and knees, just like digging his eyes in there to see if it was legal or not, and he just couldn't tell the difference. I would say from watching it, there was at least half the shots to the back of the head. The other half were legal. Some of them were iffy. So if you want to lean more towards the area that Michael Chandler was landing more legal strikes, that's completely fair. But there was definitely some back of the head strikes, and the fact the ref didn't stop it is completely bullshit. Hey, don't get me wrong, Michael Chandler is a completely dirty fighter. Don't get me wrong. He was grabbing that cage. He was doing all sorts of things in that fight. Eye pokes. But the MMA rules are the commentary and the way. These are the rules of mixed martial arts. This is what's allowed in the back of the head. It says so right here in the unified rules if you bother to read it. But Michael Chandler probably did cheat. That's the conclusion I came to. I'm the judge, the jury, the executioner. Fuck Michael Chandler. And fuck MMA Joey. I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe to me. 124 subscribers. Get me to 125. Just hit, next person hit the subscribe button. And leave a like. I'll see you next time.